feed these motherfuckers, but
Tune in.
This is your Friday Night Lights podcast, photo and entertainment, and Middle Georgia sales and services.
Coke don't worry about Pepsi. I had to go see a man about a mule.
Look at here, look at here.
A-Town down.
And you better not lose.
Tune in.
Not so fast, my friend.
You better say it with your chest.
Come on now, shout it.
And you better not lose. Hey, you better watch your mouth now.
I am a Lego.
Better shut your mouth.
Yes, I am. I don't mean to interrupt. Better say it with your chest. Let's get it.
And you better not lose.
What's going on, fellas?
what's good with you?
Good. What's going on?
Oh snap, we got we been blessed with the presence of Dro tonight.
Hey, man, what's up? What's happening? I'm surprised you showing up tonight. What's going on, man?
Hey, ain't nothing changed. Despite the BS, ain't nothing changed. I'm still gonna show my face now.
Man, talk about BS, bro. That was so some BS, man. You know what I'm
We
saying?
ain't gonna talk. We ain't gotta talk about it. We ain't gotta talk about it. We just gotta handle business next season. We just gotta handle business the right way. Keep the
That's
game
right.
out the referee's hand.
That's right.
I mean, I know that's a statement, and I even said that in the video that I made to you guys. But one thing about it, football is football. You know, regardless, officials going to always be in the game. You know what I mean? Y'all played y'all hearts out, so they say in the creek. So you can't determine, you know, that you're just going to blow the next team out. You know, you never know when that game going to come down to a last-minute drive. So I still say it needs to be something done with some replay, especially in meaningful games like playoff and championship games.
All that's coming. All that's coming to a head on Thursday. Trust and believe. All that's coming to a head on Thursday.
Yeah, I hope so. They should have done something a long time ago.
Well, I'm gonna put it like this because we were gonna talk about it tonight anyway. So we know Thursday they're gonna make the announcement that the state championship games are being moved back to the Mercedes-Benz. We know that for a fact. All right. Now, whether they make the announcement at the same time or before the season gets started or while the season is playing, but they're going to make the announcement that they're going to implement instant replay
You
in the state
positive about this?
championship game.
You positive about this, or it's just a feeling?
It's a feeling.
Yeah.
It's a feeling. They going back to the Benz. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, I know that, but I disagree on.
Oh snap!
You know, I know that it's going back to the bins. We know that should come here soon, but I disagree on the replay. You know, I just feel like if you do, especially after this, you got a lot of answers. You got a lot of questions that has to be answered for. You got to answer why 2016, why 2017, after seeing this type stuff happen, why weren't you so, heavy on going to replay then? I don't think they want those questions answered. So I think they're going to stick to their guns.
Nah, dog. You want the real talk on that? Those questions are easy to avoid because of this. It didn't make national media.
Oh, yes, it did. That Peach County was on Sports Center, ESPN, and everything.
But it wasn't to the same level. It wasn't to the same level. That's what I'm saying. Like right now, the GHSA got a black eye right now because of that game, and they got a black eye because of other calls made during that weekend. I'm gonna leave it at that. But the GHSA got a black eye put on them.
Well, you
Rumor,
sound like
so
from what I'm taking, you saying you sounded like y'all gang had more ramifications than the Peach County and the ones before.
the only thing I'm saying is this. This is all I'm saying. One, both games were the magnitude of the calls made in both games were the same. All I'm saying is today it brought more attention and put more attention on GHSA because now you have somebody within your own state calling you out saying you can do this for less than $3,000. You have no excuse. If y'all read that second article that was posted from the AJC, not the one from Todd Holcomb, but the other one from I forgot the guy's name, started with an E. He told the GSA, you got a high school in your organization at McKeachin that has implemented instant replay for their own classic games that are played there, but you can't do it for the state championship, and you can do it for less than $3,000.
Y'all see
That's
what
unexcusable.
y'all see what Romeo Hunt said. He said, y'all, you know why?
Elaborate on that. Let us know what the deal is and what's good to you, Hunt.
But that's my whole thing. The GHSA done got called out in a way that they weren't called out when it happened to you guys. That's all I'm saying. The magnitude of the calls, the same. But the fallout is a little different. That's all I'm saying. The fallout from it is a little different because now you got your hometown paper calling you out. That didn't happen with you guys, nor did it happen with Washington County. And that's what I see as the biggest difference between between the three games.
I think they should have had the referees that did y'all games should have been the ones that did the games the first 2 weeks, and then the ones that did the games on Thursday should have been the ones that called the game on Saturday.
All right, with you saying that, do you understand who the referees were in our game?
No.
They were from the Savannah area.
Okay. I can see it.
Does that not bother you?
It do. That's all you had to say. That spoke volume right down the Savannah area.
Yeah.
They did that because of what y'all did to Cavalry Day. That's what it was. And that's what it was from.
But, what's done is done. We can't change it, but we can fix what happens going forward.
Because when we played against that team for Columbus, those referees that came and did that game, they were from that area too. I don't know why they do that, but that's what they do.
Yeah.
So what referees were from the night before, the day before? Where they were from?
I didn't listen to that one. For what game in particular? Because they changed crews each game. Which game are you referring to?
So I can't remember, but it looked like they had the same referee though. With that
To be honest, we all know that the entire weekend from Thursday to Saturday was just horrible officiating. Like it was ridiculous. Like in all my years of football, I hadn't seen anything about it. Now, yeah, you got it capped off by the horrific call in the Cedar Grove Sandy Creek game. But that entire weekend, every crew from whatever area, I know one on was the Atlanta area crew, and I think they did have a Columbus area crew that was there on one of those games. I don't care which game it was. That was just some horrible officiating the entire weekend.
especially the referees that did Cedar Grove game, the referees that did the house did that one rivalry game, especially the referees that did that Mill Creek them game. When that Mill Creek won it, that won it, won it.
Yeah, Middle Creek won, but that ref, shit, I mean, that officiating wasn't bad though.
Oh, okay.
In my opinion, that was a good that game. That was called good. I mean, that's just me though, because
Oh,
I
let me
mean, when
answer
you look
that.
at what they were doing,
He said that cool for making. I could tell they call it a good game, but the one from that one rivalry game and a Cedar Grove game, they were horrible. From what
yeah,
I
I
seen.
mean, yeah, we can all agree on that one. I lost my dang on sick. But like I say, I'm trying to pull the article up now so y'all can actually read it, so I can actually show it to you. Because that second article that they put out, that the AJC put out, was the one that I like outside of the one that Todd Holcomb wrote. Because Todd Holcomb, he's going to hold back because he has other things going
He in
on
cahoots.
outside of.
He in cahoots.
Yeah, he in cahoots. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. When you get down to it, that's basically what it comes down to. He in cahoots with GHSA because he runs he's part of the historian web. No, part of the historian website and stuff. But the second article, that dude had zero to give.
He got nothing invested, so he can speak the truth.
Yeah.
Serge, do you have the final top 10 going into the next season yet?
No. Just all I've seen is the 7-8 so far. I haven't seen the rest of them yet.
And what's that you're asking about?
The way too early top 10 on next season.
Okay. Yeah.
I ain't supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we got 4. So let me log on to the AJC real fast and pull this article up so y'all can see this thing. AJC.
Let me shout out
But
everybody.
outside of that, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mo.
I was shouting out to everybody that's on here watching tonight. We appreciate y'all coming and watching us here with us the whole football season. Or whenever you came on board, we appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for the support going forward.
All right, so I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna share it from that point forward.
Old Farley on here tonight, y'all. Old Farley. What's going on, Farley?
Let me blow this up a little bit so y'all can actually see it. Where we at? Where my mouse at? There you go. Blow it up so y'all can actually see it. What I'm trying to show. So this is where I want y'all to pick up on this article at. In the article, it starts off with going 6 seasons ago. So it references the Peach County game, right?
Right.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Runs down everything that happened. Comes into this. Now, this is the part that got me. This part right here. Began experiment with instant replay. After. And this is a season after y'all stuff happened. You see what I'm saying? You got a high school within your own organization that is playing with instant replay.
Wow.
Todd Holcomb didn't talk about this. And then he says this. The guy that wrote the article says this. That's why it's hard to read quotations like this from the board member, Stephen Kraft, that writer Todd Holcomb quoted. Todd Holcomb, you throwing some BS out there. You're not getting you're not trying to get real answers from GHSA. And then he comes back and asks the question. Why are we still sitting here 5 years later trying to get by with more eyes? Because what the GHSA did was added 2 referees to the field. Instead of instant replay, we're gonna add 2 referees.
Is Tommy Whitney still with the he's still associate director of the GSHA?
No. Oh, Tommy Whittle?
Yeah, Whittle, yeah.
Don't know. Don't care. And the reason I say I don't care, it's about the current regime making the right decision, doing what needs to be done. And then on top of that, this is the part that kills me. He threw it out there. HD cameras needed are relatively cheap. The company GameStrap provides a multitude of options for replay at home stadiums with $1,700 for a top-tier 2-camera system, press box end zone, with full season game day tech support included. He done told the GHSA, the company to go to, the minimum amount of money you got to spend and what they going to provide.
That ain't bad at all. They made that in one weekend. Double that.
Man, they make that at one game.
That's it, you quadrupling that at one game. Like the GHSA ain't heard for no money.
None. But you can't come up off of $10,000 to put end zone, to put goal line cameras on both ends of the field, cameras down the sideline, cameras from the press box and the end zone. You can't, and then to have somebody up there looking at it. You can't front that money. You can't pay that money.
Again, that's why I feel nothing will get done, because again, besides the questions being answered, it takes the power out of people who want power's hands. Because believe it or not, like I say, people can say what they want to say, but there is a biased community in Georgia high school football. You know what I mean? I said it in my video. Dominance is not what they want from Pacific areas and Pacific schools. So to keep that under control, I don't think they will implement the replay. That's just a personal opinion. I can't speak that as factual. That's just what I feel personally.
Unless we take it to the Senate, unless we get a petition and take it to the Senate, that might be the only reason it's going to happen.
Well, Georgia legislation, I have always said they're going to allow GHSA to handle their own stuff.
Well, that ain't going to make no difference here.
What was that about, Thirsty? Because I remember when the Georgia legislation stepped away from GHSA. What was that on? You remember the topic?
Yeah. That was about the travel costs and going to 7 classes. That's what that conversation was about. The GHSA was basically asking the state to help subsidize their nonprofit organization to help fund schools to offset travel costs during the regular season. That's why they went up to 7 classes to help reduce travel costs during the regular season. Now, since they're not going to get any extra funds from the state, they're going to go back to 6 classes and reduce travel costs to help reduce the travel. That's the only reason they're going back to 6 classes, is to reduce travel costs during the regular season.
Yeah, and see, that's the point I was saying. They thought they could get it from the state legislation, and they pretty much said, fuck you, you on your own. So I don't think going to the state legislation and like most saying and trying to get something done as far as implementing replay. The state legislation already said, GHSA, you're a monster on your own. You deal with your own problems.
But that's pretty much what they told me. Man, they ain't updated this thing yet.
I know we're on this right now, Thursday, but I wanted you to kind of, while you're getting that together, kind of get that old coaching vacancy list that you had up.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. No, I just pulled it up. They haven't updated it yet, but I just pulled it up, though.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question for y'all, though.
What's up, bro?
If they make something happen this time, do you think that the other schools that it would did, do you think they'll feel a certain type of way they don't overturn it for everybody?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, here's my thing. What's happened this past year in the past, it's a done deal. Ain't nothing finna happen to it.
Yeah.
But going forward, they got to make sure they get the correct call in going forward.
Yeah, that's what I agree upon. It won't be overturned because you still have that to fall back on as this was our system. Our system didn't allow replay. It was a judgment call. That's what Georgia High School Association has always been. So it won't get overturned in no kind of way. But like Mike said, going forward, you got to correct the system. It has shown itself to be a flawed system several times. To just allow this to continue to happen, that's pretty much just a slap in the face to every high school in the state of Georgia. What we're saying is we're going to control the outcomes of the game, not your kids' hard work, not your long season, your practices, your summer workouts, your off season. None of that gonna matter. If we get down and can make a judgment calls that affect your whole season, then so be it, tough luck. So that's kind of like turning your nose up at every high school in Georgia. And you got to correct that, man. It don't show itself to be a flawed system too many times. You got to correct it.
I want to address what Obadiah said. Obadiah saying if they move the state championship game to Mercedes-Benz, which they will do, they're going to announce it tomorrow. Do y'all think they should just use their cameras when it comes to the replays? No. And here's my reason why. And it's the same with Georgia State. The equipment that is at the Mercedes-Benz technically belongs to the NFL.
NFL.
The equipment at Georgia State belongs to the NCAA.
Yes, sir.
If GHSA breaks that equipment, they have to pay for it.
Yes.
It's not going to happen. So therefore, GHSA has to bring in their own equipment in conjunction with GPB and or NFHS to help subsidize them. They cannot use the equipment that's on hand at the home stadium because of who's going to be responsible for it if it gets broken. And it's going to happen.
It's just like, and most should understand what I'm talking about, DJ and run through his family as well as Mo himself. When you go to a club and you got a house DJ, he leave his equipment there. That's his. But if you having your own party or someone hire you at that specific spot, you're not to touch that house DJ equipment. You have to bring your own equipment. So it's kind of just giving an example. If y'all can follow that, if the GHSA, even in the Mercedes-Benz, even in Park Stadium, you can't touch the NCAA, the NFL. You have to bring your own. Like Mike said, you partner that in with the GPTV or the streaming source of the GHSA for the video review and stuff like that, and you got it. And like the guy from AJC said, you're talking about a eighth of the money that you make on the season to take care of this. Like, it's no reason it shouldn't be done.
And here's my other thing. Go ahead, Mo.
But then too, if you actually sitting home and watching the game, sometimes GPV do replays on their own.
Yeah, but the thing is, as of now, the officials don't have to look at that.
Yes,
Even
they're not
in stadium.
relaying that. They're
Yeah.
not. They're not in kind of any kind of they can't relay that to the officials on the field about what you're looking at on public TV. That's just like CBS or Fox that's bringing you the NFL and you see these replays. That's not who's responsible for the replaying. Those replay cameras that they're using that got them sitting up in New York that you hear them saying going to New York on, they got their own cameras that they're viewing this on. They're not viewing this from the TV cameras.
Now, in addition to that, what I want to say was, with the high school, what they can do, and this is what I think is the best option for them, is to put it in the contract with GPB. I need 4 to 6 cameras on the sidelines.
There you go.
On each sideline. Because GPB, they got cameras going up and down the sideline. They got a minimum of 2 going up and down the sideline. They got one that's there with the action on each side, and they got one that's following stories that's going on the sideline, i.e., all up in the injury tent, or broadcasting the sideline interview. All right, add an additional 4 cameras on, or an additional 2 cameras on the sideline, on each sideline, and that is part of your replay. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to buy the equipment. Use the equipment that GPB already got. All you got to do is put someone in position, i.e., put an extra referee in the booth, and all that joker does is replays.
Watching replays.
Or you put him down in the headquarters at GHSA to watch replays. I don't care where you put him at, but you got one referee. You can switch them out every game. Their whole job is to watch replays and make that call. Just like the NFL does. You got New York, NCAA. You got referees on site at each station. That's all they're responsible for.
And it's just a matter of getting that contract with GPTV to do that.
Yeah.
Or the streaming network, or like you said, McEachern High School, you know what I'm saying, who offers it at their school. Like, you can get with someone that's already into the broadcast and the broadcasting industry and make this happen right out of Georgia. It's not like you got to spend a whole bunch of money.
Man, you can go down to Texas right now and study what they do and study how they did it. All right, how do y'all do it in Texas? How do y'all do it in Alabama? What are y'all doing? So we can implement this. Matter of fact, I give you the gas money out my pocket to drive to Alabama. How are y'all doing?
Here's the most concerning and alarming thing about Alabama. Alabama don't have better facilities than Georgia. Alabama don't have a better broadcasting public service television than Georgia. And if it can be done in Alabama, it damn sure can be done in Georgia.
Yeah, that's why I say it's no excuse, man. It's no excuse for GHSA not to have this implemented at a minimum in the state championship games, at a minimum. Now, regular season, I can understand the regular season, not doing it during the regular season. I get that. Because now you're talking about implementing it at how many high schools in the GHSA? We said, over 400, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to implement this in over 400 stadiums, and not all 400 stadiums are even running fees on the NFHS network. So why are you gonna try and implement it there? You're on a regular season. So I get, at a minimum, the state championship game, it shouldn't be a problem, man.
Not at all. Not at all.
But like I said, expect the press conference on Thursday to announce state championship games from here on out will be moved back to Mercedes-Benz. That I do expect to be heard on Thursday tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
What,
I can
2 o'clock?
agree with that. I can agree with that.
Because the biggest factor in that, the weather for the past 2 years been jacked up at the state title game.
I say every year it's been there, bro. I
What
can't remember a year it been anything decent.
what did it rain in 2020?
No, it didn't rain 2020, I don't think.
I know 2021 it rained. This past year it rained. I'm not sure about 2020. I know 2020 it was cold.
Yeah, that game with Pierce and Oconee, that's the only one I watched being 3A relevance.
Hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, I know it was some jacked up weather. I don't know if it was
Yeah,
raining, but I know it was cold and overcast type stuff, and
yeah.
it just
Cause
didn't
man,
make for a good football game. That's all I can say.
this is all I'm gonna say. Imagine if uh uh damn, I can't think of that name now. Hughes had played in the dome. Think if Milton and Carrollton had played in the dome. If Carrollton and Milton had played in the dome, I think Mill Creek would have broke 80. And the reason I'm saying that, in the beginning of the game, they really didn't want to throw the ball because it was raining. PAC would have probably put up 70 points in their game. They played in some heavy rain. Benedictine, Cedartown. Benedictine couldn't open up the offense because of the rain. Cedartown didn't want to kick the field goal because of the rain. It was raining so hard at the end of the game.
Yeah, they already had a shaky kicker with the rain. Got to worry about getting the snaps down. You go for it on 4th and 1 when all you needed was a field goal to win the game. So that did play a factor. Yeah, that makes sense, man. You got to get it out of these elements. And I know you think that you play the regular season in those elements and you should be built for it. But you got to think the championship game is just that. It's the championship game. The
You
same
want the
way you
most.
don't do that at a home stadium, you're doing that in a central location. There should be different rules that offset what you do throughout the year.
Man, you want the best possible conditions for all teams for all games.
Yes,
Plain and
sir.
simple for that type of environment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
Well,
that's my thing.
we'll look forward to that on tomorrow. How about these coaching vacancies? Anything you want to say
Man,
about
yeah, I wish the site was updated, man. The site ain't been updated since November 30th. But we got some additions we can add to it though.
it? Definitely.
I know the biggest one for me is the coach from Collins Hills leaving. That one I don't understand.
How many
Yeah,
coaches is moving? How many coaches moving in all that you know
Shit, man.
the
Man, you gonna make me
website had what, 15?
hold on. I'm finna put it up on the screen. Give me a second. I was outside with my yak and my black. Hold on. Let me put the website up on the screen. Let me put the page up on the screen for you. Bam, we're gonna go there. Was it cold while it was raining for the championship game? It wasn't cold, but it was a nice little cold breeze coming through. I will tell you that, sitting out there in it, oh, you felt it. You had to bundle up a little bit.
It was dry when
But
y'all
like
played though, wasn't it?
man, yeah, we still felt the cold breeze.
Yeah, I know. But y'all were used to it though. Like I guess some of y'all were used to that cold. Y'all fix you some to eat some. What happened, y'all?
Man, I was waiting on Thursday. I thought he was putting the content together.
Oh, there he back.
You good, bro? I can't count the number, but I do know since that list, I know the Northside Warner Robins position and the Colquitt County. I'm sorry, the Collins Hill position has came up.
Yeah. Man, I'm just talking and my damn phone just locked up on me and I'm all off the screen. I'm just yapping away. I'm like, man, why ain't nobody saying that? I looked down, my phone's on. But yeah, like I know this one here, that Southwest Cab, is something that we had expected because of what's happened over the past 2 seasons with that coach.
Uh-huh.
We were looking at that one up here, so we figured that was gonna happen. You know, I know for me, from what I was hearing, it was kind of expected. It's just a matter of who's coming in now.
Yeah.
Peach County. For Northside, but that's gonna play major implication. That's a big job down in Middle Georgia.
Mhm.
Matter was a surprise. Lowndes, I think they kind of expected it because of how they, with a first round playoff exit. You can't do that as a coach down in Lowndes. You cannot do that.
Well, real
That's
quick, I don't think it was expected only because they had just brought Greg.
yeah. I mean, I know they had just brought him in, but still, nobody saw that one
I
coming.
think he was just a what you want to
bridge.
call it, like a bridge, yeah, to get to a certain coach that they want. I know who I got in mind, who I think will get that job after he went out and won the state championship this year. So we see how that goes. But I didn't think they would have pulled the trigger as soon as they did. I was thinking maybe 2-3 years in before they did that. But I guess 1 year wonder.
I know. For me, Cairo is a big surprise. I wasn't expecting that, but
yeah, because Steve Dvorsky, after leaving, going over to Alabama and giving it the reins to someone who had been at the school, you didn't think that, because if that was the case, go ahead and hire your permanent coach. Why would you give this guy a chance after 1 year and let him go? So that was a surprise, I would say.
but
First, I have a question
now,
for you.
yeah, what we got?
Has MLK been good in the last few years?
No.
Nope. No. That's why I didn't even highlight MLK. But like I say, interacting with the people that I interact with up here in the Atlanta area, DeKalb County, that's why I say we knew this was going to happen. We thought it was going to happen last year, but it didn't for Southwest DeKalb because he totally lost the program. And how do you go undefeated in a season and then make an exit in the first round of the playoffs? You see what I'm saying? So we expected this guy to be gone. We expected it.
Real quick, not to interrupt you on Thirst, but Cornelius Coleman, that's the guy that I was speaking on. I've heard that myself. But here on FNL, we like to have facts before we talk. That's the reason why we hadn't called out any names in those positions. But yeah, I agree. That's who I've heard will be the next head coach at Lowndes. We just got to wait and see before we make any announcement on it. So I know a lot of other groups have been posting this person this, but we speak factual. So we're going to wait to hear, or if we get any kind of inside track, we'll definitely let it be known then.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. We don't want to throw rumors out there or nothing like that. We want to, if we're going to speak it, then we're going to speak facts. That's one thing we pride ourselves on, is speaking facts. I'm trying to I'm trying to see if the actual historian site got anything else to offer. I'm not seeing anything on there right now. But I mean, all we can do is keep up with what we hear and add to the list and keep it moving from there.
I mean, I don't remember. Um, and Thirsty, Mo, I know we've been following high school football. Dro, if he's back on, we've been following high school football for a while. I don't remember it being this many coaching vacancies this early. I mean, as soon as the season was over with, you start dropping hammers. I don't remember it ever being like that. If anybody else do, you can enlighten me.
I didn't ever know. I didn't ever used to find out till the next season.
If it has, it just hadn't happened. Things wasn't moving this fast. I'm gonna say that. I know for me, a lot of schools are moving like colleges right now and conducting themselves as if it's business. That's how I feel about it right now. You got a lot of schools moving real fast, get coaches out, bring coaches in, i.e., as a business.
But y'all think somebody else will pick Zach Gage up real quick?
Oh, a lot of folks gonna get picked up real quick. The schools got to go through the red tape.
I think it's just like Mike said, the college level, that business like thing. I think it's gonna take one ball. When that one ball start rolling, you're gonna see a domino effect. This coach will be signed and just back to back, back to back. They're gonna put one coach in one position that's gonna open doors for a lot of other coaches to start falling in place. And you see that a lot in college and the NFL, because everybody want that one guy, and if he don't make it and somebody else get him, then they'll go ahead and hire the next guy up and the next guy up, and it'll start a domino effect. I think that's how it's going to be here soon. Majority of the stuff take place before the 1st of January because you want them in when that new semester start. You want to get acclimated with the system and your kids. You want to get ready for spring ball and off-season workouts. So before this Christmas vacation and all of that stuff, be looking for a lot of coaches' decisions to happen.
That's in 2 days then.
Yep. Within the next couple of days is my take on it. Again, I did have a conversation with the AD of Peach County, and he kind of told me their timelines and things. So the next couple of days, we should be hearing something there. It's going to be a domino effect, man.
For sure. But like I say, I know it's crazy though, man, because you got people stepping away from jobs that you didn't expect them to step away from. That's really the thing that got me. Because why would you step away from the College Hills job? You know, why would you? Why are you stepping away? I don't know if he got fired or step away from the Cairo job, but why?
I got 2 words for you when you step away from the College Hill job.
What's
You
that?
ready for those 2 words?
Yeah.
Mill Creek. You don't want that smoke, man. You don't want that smoke. Go somewhere to a smaller school, maybe in the Metro Atlanta area, where you're gonna be able to be in control and get the kids in that you want. Hopefully you can get a class like a Travis Hill or Sam Horn that came through for you, that won you a championship. Staying in 7A in that region there, you ain't finna compete with Mill Creek. So that's my reason for getting out of College Hill.
Okay. All right. Mm. So let's talk about Cairo real quick. Mr. Coleman that they had down there as the interim. Now, just that he was just at an error to get him through the season. I get that part. Why you think they're not offering the man the job though?
You hear me, bro?
Now I do.
Okay, I said I got a better question.
Okay.
How Chad Alligood? What went on at Northside that Chad Alligood decided to resign? Was it forceful resign? Was it termination to go and be the AD at Jones County when Northside has been down for a couple of years, but have made their way back to become a stable team in 6A football, going down a classification more than likely to back to 5A. You know, you got a talented quarterback room there, slew of athletes. What really went on there? That was my biggest surprise behind. Now, I got to say that was my biggest surprise. I kind of, like you said, knew the situation being in-house at Peach, kind of knew the situation of what could have been and what might was. But the Northside Chad Alligood is one that I couldn't understand.
Well, all right. Hold on. I'm gonna put the numbers up on the screen for you. I'm gonna let y'all look at the numbers. That's what I'm gonna do. Let me pull up school real fast. I'm gonna let y'all look at the numbers. Where we at? All right, there we go. I'm gonna put the numbers up on the screen, and I'm gonna let you make a judgment call from that. So let me see, 200. All right. So he was at Northside for 3 seasons since 20. He came in 2020. First year went 5-6. Right, made the playoffs, exited the first round. Second season, 9-4, made the quarterfinals. Great season, right? I think we can all agree that's a great season for any school to make the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
This past season, made it to the second round and had an exit, win 7-5. I'm not sure if Northside had big expectations this year, but I think, and this is just my opinion, my thing is the expectations was put on him this year to make the finals or bust.
Okay. Now that makes sense when you think about how pressure, especially from a program like Northside, if I'm not mistaken, 3-time state champions. But go to Kinsler last couple of years before Alligood took the job and tell me his records and his accomplishments.
It's right there. 3-7, 9-6, 8-4. Since they won, we're gonna go back to 2014. They won a state title in 2014. After that, 9-2, 11-3, 8-4, 9-6, 3-7, and he out the door.
Okay. So that's the point that I'm speaking of right there. When you're talking about 8 years now since you sniffed or somebody even played with a state championship, and you had a coach that won that state title for you, to see the decline in that to go 3-7, and that next year you go 5-6 with a playoff run, and then you start making consistent playoff runs in 2-3 years back to back. I just, like I said, I don't see where that. In 2017, they did make the championship game, lost to Lee County. So the team is used to winning. But when you got a coach that come in after a difficult season and you turn the program back around to start moving back in that direction of consistent playoffs, I don't see how you can up and leave without something being behind the door.
Oh, it's always something behind the door. It's always something behind the door that we don't see. But
I got a question from one of our YouTube listeners. My homeboy Eddie Gary, he just wanted to know if Collins Hill North Side or some of these big 7A schools like Lowndes County that's got vacancies will go after John Adams, who's shown himself to be a proven winner and went up against these 7A schools, majority of, and showed that he can coach on that level.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm being honest. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past them to go after Adams. My only thing is that what make me hesitant for them to go after him is all you did was you got handed keys to a Ferrari. It's the same as Miguel Patrick. You got handed keys to a Ferrari. All you had to do was drive it and not wreck it.
Yeah. So
that's my only thing.
Yeah, he hadn't shown that he can coach. He's just been able to maintain the Ferrari. He's just been able to crank it up and drive it and hold it in the road.
Correct.
I.e. Miguel Patrick. You
Correct.
Came down to Chris. Again, you was handed a Ferrari and you wrecked. You crashed out.
So
because they did have a decent team that year. So, yeah, I see where you're going with that. I do know that DeKalb County is not taking care of their coaches. I do know that.
DeKalb County ain't taking care of nobody but DeKalb County.
So I don't see him, sticking around too much longer, because if he's giving that Ferrari and he's handling it well, people on the outside ain't looking at the fact that all they looking at is he's driving a Ferrari. Mm-hmm. So they coming at him. All they looking at is he's a state championship coach. They're not looking at how he got it, why he got it. So I would love to see Coach Adams, as we don't had him on the show several times. Mike, you do have a personal relationship with him, and he's shown himself to be a good guy. I wouldn't be mad at him if he decided to move on and do something that's better for his family.
No, I wouldn't either, because we could take Jimmy Smith or the two prior coaches, Jimmy Smith and Miguel Patrick. We can look at both of them. Coach Jimmy Smith, he took a job. When he left, he went to Georgia State, spent 2 years at Georgia State, and ended up at Arkansas as the running backs coach. Jimmy Smith, on the staff during that whole time, inherited the program, inherited the Ferrari, got a better offer, got offered more money to take care of himself and his family, moved down to Cordell. And then you got, once again, knocking on your door, it's the college ranks. I cannot blame you for moving on.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. It's just like Deion. No coach in their right mind is trying to stay stagnant in the same position.
Yeah.
They want to continue to progress and grow the same way that they're trying to progress and grow players. What's wrong with a coach growing? I got no issues with it. So if Coach Adams takes a job somewhere and that job leads him to something bigger, at the end of the day, it's going to benefit every single school that he was at. Because
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say. All right, I just got one question.
Go ahead.
I got one question. Cordell. I need for somebody from Cordell, Georgia, and to tell me how many kids y'all got going to Arkansas this year or Ohio State this year. That's all I want to know. How many kids got offered from those schools?
All because of the coaches in that situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. And see, that's my only thing that I was going to say. I have no problem with it. Now, Coach Adams, Miguel Patrick, the way he did it, Coach Patrick, if you're going to make that move, the only thing I would say, make it early. Don't do what Coach Patrick did. You're a month away from spring practice and you can't up and leave your kids. If you're going to make that move, man, y'all go ahead and make it now. I have no problem with coaches moving on like Deion, and if you see that in the NFL, in the college ranks, they do kind of do it right after the season so they can go ahead and get implemented within their teams and stuff. high schools need to start doing that also. You know, I don't like that right before the season type hires and
Yeah.
right before the season, you know, vacancies coming open. That right there, I don't agree with.
Can I say something on the Dion situation real fast? I just got to say this, man, because I think a lot of folks are
Go ahead.
missing this on the Dion situation.
Well, let me ask you a question first. Let me ask you a question first on that. Do you think his son gonna be the starting quarterback?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the kid that came out of Georgia is gonna be starting too.
You talking about the one that made a cornerback, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be starting too. So here's my thing with Dion, and that everybody's missing. What is one thing that Dion did at Jackson State? He brought in nothing but minority coaches. Now, here's my thing. In order for we sit up here and we talk and complain all day about minority coaches. What is Dion doing right now at Colorado?
Bringing minority coaches into the ranks.
Bringing in minority coaches, D1 program, and a P5 conference to get them the experience to move on to bigger and better things. Dion, he said it himself. He's about to make a bunch of guys millionaires.
How many he brought with him from Jackson State?
I couldn't give you the actual number, and I wouldn't be surprised if he brought the entire staff with him. But my thing is, what Dion is doing and understands is, in order to create those opportunities, you got to elevate yourself and those people around you. And that's what Dion is, and that's one of the things Dion looked at by taking a job at Colorado. I go to a P5, I can bring in my own coaches and get them experience to move on to bigger and better jobs within D1 and eventually, hopefully, one day make it to the NFL. And they can carry the shit forward.
Hey, hats off Deion Sanders for what you're doing. I don't care anybody's public opinion. We spoke on this before, and I was speaking on how you speak in HBCU, how you speaking for us, and you make this move. But after having to really sit down and look at exactly what it is that guy's doing, I recant everything I said. Deion, you're doing a great job, a hell of a job. And that's just my take on that. I won't speak much on that because I might get a little real deep with it after doing some research on it. So good job, Deion.
So that's why I was never mad at Deion, because we got people in the group, in our group and stuff, and other groups that consistently talk about minority coaches. But when you got a minority coach that elevates himself, he's elevating other people with him. He's not leaving nobody behind. He's bringing it and trying to elevate them also. But you cannot elevate in the business of football, whether it's the collegiate level or the NFL, without that experience. So that's all I'm gonna say on the Deion thing. Now back to high school. There is something that I do want to talk about tonight. There is something I want to talk about tonight. And a lot of it has to do with Mo. Can you stop sharing that screen for me? Or do I need to take it off myself?
You don't have to take it off. You got it. Hold on, let me see.
Oh, I gotta take it off? Okay.
No, I think I can take it off. Let me see. No, you got to do it.
No problem. Shit, I'll take it off myself. All right, let me walk back in and take it off. Okay, one of the things I want to talk about is recruiting. And when I say recruit, I'm talking about recruiting from the high school level to get in.
And I wish Auntie Shan was on here for this conversation, but y'all hear me okay, right?
Yeah, I got you, bro.
All right. Here's my thing, and this is from my personal experience from dealing with my own child, okay? Nothing starts with the coaches at the high school level. Nothing starts with um, recruiters reaching out. A recruiter is never gonna reach out until that child has entered the official NCAA portal. I want to start right there. It's $100 to put yourself in the portal as a high school recruit. At whatever grade level you decide to enter that portal, it's $100 right off the rip. All right. Once you enter that portal, man, you're gonna get bombarded with emails from all these different organizations that say they can help you get recruited. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to this. You submitting your SAT scores to that NCAA portal so any and all schools can pull it.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do like what they doing on YouTube? I mean, on Twitter right now. Yeah, how they got that stuff like that? Is that helping them out? Helping the
Yes.
players?
Yes. And I'm gonna get to that. Now I'm gonna get to Twitter. But I'm telling you where it starts at. If you anticipate your child, your nephew, your grandson might be the next best thing since sliced bread, get them in the NCAA portal as early as possible. There is a portal strictly for high school students. All right. No ifs, ands, or buts, no cap on that. It's $100 to register yourself and be in that portal. What you're going to do next, you want to take the SAT and the ACT as many times as possible. Because what college is going to do, they're going to take the best math, the best English score that you've generated from the SAT and combine them, regardless of when you took it. And they're going to do the same thing with the ACT. They're going to take your best score, regardless, and run with it. So you want to take both of those multiple times. The next thing, once you get in that portal, create yourself a Twitter account. In that Twitter account,
And a huddle.
well, the huddle is from the school, and I'm going to get to that.
Okay, my bad. Go do your thing, bro.
Yeah. The Twitter account, a clean, clear profile picture of yourself. In your bio, you want your measurements in that bio. You want your GPA and you want your classification in your bio. So once again, you want classification, you want height, weight, 40 speed, broad jump, GPA, position that you play, and your class and your classification, junior, sophomore, junior, senior, whatever. And then what you're going to do from that, every school in the state of Georgia has a huddle sponsored by GSHS, sponsored by the governing body. Every school in the state of Georgia, no ifs, ands, or buts. From that point, the schools manage huddle. They're going to issue you your huddle account. You're going to log in. Every game, they're going to post the huddle highlights, the huddle film, the whole game film from that game that you just played. It's probably going to be posted either that Friday night or sometime that Saturday. It's on you to go in and find a highlight that you want to share on your Twitter page. You can go in, you can highlight yourself how you see fit. You can put arrows, flames, circles, triangles, squares all around you to highlight yourself. You can put words up in there. It don't matter. But you want to share those huddle highlights to your Twitter. Because coaches, and then on top of that, once you get on that Twitter, you want to, whatever school you're interested in, you want to follow the head coach. You want to follow every single staff member on that team you want to follow.
And make sure you add your coaches when you posted those highlights.
Exactly. And like I say, I wish Auntie Shan was on here because this is what I learned dealing with my own son, my own child. So tag all them coaches, follow all those coaches, administrators, whatever the case may be that you know at that school that you're interested in. And by all means, spend parents, uncles, grandparents, spend the money and take them to them camps. If they're not going to the camp and getting
But
visibility at those camps,
it's some
it's a waste of time.
feedback.
Yeah, it's a feedback from somebody. But it's a waste of time.
Let's see where it coming from. Mute your mic, yo.
But yeah, it's a waste of time to do everything if you're not going to whatever school your child is interested in, going to that camp, going to that school's camp. Now, don't get me wrong, you do have camps at schools like LaGrange, Valdosta, Mercer, Georgia State, where they have multiple schools at the camp. But here's the deal. You got multiple schools. If you haven't reached out to those schools already on Twitter to follow them and interacted with them, it's a waste of time. Unless you know your child is just going to get down there and just show out.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Since my son finna be an upcoming freshman, could I take him to any of those camps or something?
Yeah, you can. But here's my thing. Before you take him to any camp, the first thing you want to do right now is put him in that portal. Go on to the NCAA eligibility site, eligibilitycenter.org, and register him and drop the $100 and get him put in there. Because if he's not in there, nobody's going to talk to him. Nobody's going to look at him if he's not in that on the NCAA eligibilitycenter.org. Nobody's going to talk to him. And Mo, that's why I told you before, get your son to camps.
I want you to help me out too, man.
Now, I will say this on the camps. Talk to the head coach. The head coach is going to recommend camps for your child to go to as an individual. Now, on top of that, the school itself should have teen camps that they want the whole team to go to. Like for my son, they were supposed to go to North Carolina and NC State camps as a team, but Henry County shut it down because of COVID, so they couldn't go. They didn't go, so I had to stick to individual camps for my son. But I reached out to the head coach. Hey, what camps do you recommend my son to go to? And he came back with those recommendations, and that's the camps I took my son to: Georgia State, Mercer, and the camp down in LaGrange. Now, granted, huh?
See what Shatara said? It's on the screen.
No, what she say?
She said
it's for all sports. It's for all sports because you're going to specify what sport you're entering your child, which portal you're entering your child into. It's for all sports. Because you cannot be recruited by a school if you're not in that portal. If they're regulated by the NCAA, your child cannot be recruited by a school if they're not in that portal. Plain and simple.
Does that apply for schools who are part of the NAIA?
They have their own portal.
Okay.
Yeah, they got their own portal. Like I say, Division 1, 2, and 3, you got to go through the NCAA eligibility center.org. And I'm saying it again, NCAA eligibilitycenter.org. Drop that $100 and get your child in there as early as possible. And get them in there to take them SATs and ACTs. You want to have them take both of them multiple times. That's why I wish Auntie Shane was on here to back this up. But you got to do that. And then from there, everything else falls on Twitter. Huddle highlights being posted to their Twitter account and going to camps. To be honest with you. And I say all this to say this. The biggest question then is, why hasn't the kid from Thompson got an offer? We don't know. But I will say this. Go back and look at the kid from Prince Ave. Number 24. I forgot his name. He got a cool name, but I forgot his name. The kid had 6 catches for 201 yards on a Thursday night in a state championship game with a busted up collarbone to the point to where he had to sign a waiver to play to release all liability from the school and GHSA. Do y'all understand? Friday, he got offered a full ride scholarship to Georgia State.
You were balling now. Now take
The
that out the
next day.
You were balling.
No, what I'm saying is the next day he got offered a scholarship. And I'm saying this to say this. For the kid at Thompson, who everybody's in hoopla about why he ain't got no offers. One, has he done what needs to be done to get that offer, i.e. going to the portal, reaching out to these coaches on Instagram, on Twitter, provided SAT, ACT scores, provided transcripts in the portal to these schools. And then, now, I am going to say this, and a lot of people ain't going to like what I'm going to say, but it is what it is. And it's my opinion. It's not the opinion of Friday Night Lights podcast, but it's my opinion. In my opinion, the kid is not a running back in D1 or D2. He's not, because of size. But I do see him playing as a slot receiver or being strictly a kick return, because he is that electrifying. And the reason I say he's not a running back at a D1 or a D2 level, how good can he pick up a blitz coming up the middle? How good is he running between tackles? We know he can hit the edge and go, and it goes back to what I said last year when I was debating with Cordell. Is he a complete back? And this is what college recruiters look at. Can I put this guy on the field on first and second down or on third down to pick up a blitz when I'm trying to pass? Can he run between the tackles? Does he run good routes coming out the backfield? With his size and stature, in my opinion, he's better off to become the next Tyreek Hill, Isaiah McKenzie, playing the slot and playing kick returns because of his stature. Because I'm sorry to say, him trying to pick up a blitz of a middle linebacker in a D1, even a D2, a LCS or an FBS school, he's gonna get pulverized. I'm sorry, but that's the facts. I don't see him being recruited as a running back. If he's willing to change positions and play a slot receiver or strictly kick return, i.e. athlete, I see him going anywhere he wants to go.
Do you think he'll fit good in the secondary somewhere?
I don't know his footwork and his ability in the secondary, because that's not what's being highlighted. What's being highlighted is him coming out of the backfield. But his body ain't ready to take that punishment from an FCS or an FBS school, because the speed of the game and the power of the game is going to change. That's why I say, for him to excel, he got to be willing to change position. I'm sorry. He's going to have to be willing to change position. And if he changes position, he can make money going to a slot or strictly kick return, punt return. That's why I say he could be the next Tyreek Hill, Isaiah McKenzie. But he has to be willing to change position. He's not going to go to Georgia and play running back. He ain't going to Tennessee. He's not going to an SEC school and play running back. He can go to an SEC school and play slot or be strictly kick return and make a living at that. I can see that in him. And he's definitely too small to play cornerback at a Power 5 school. But if he's willing to change positions, I can see him playing on Saturday. But that's something that we just don't know if he's willing to do that. But if the kid is willing to change, if Mr. Curry is willing to change positions at the next level, I can see him playing on Saturday. but he got to be willing to change position because he's not gonna make it as a running back at the college level. I'm sorry, he's not.
The kid got more than just a Saturday ability. The kid has the ability to be playing on Sundays, but I agree with you. He has to be willing to change his position, and I think the kid will be. You know, I don't see the kid as being one of those that, you know, don't want to make those changes. So maybe we will be hearing a lot from him in the future.
Yeah, and like I say, my thing is, like I say, I'm not trying to talk bad on the kid. I'm not trying to talk the kid down. The kid is one hell of an athlete, and we know that. Now, and this is my other side of my opinion. He can get 2 scholarships to go to school, one to run track and one to play football. I'm gonna put it out there. He can get a track scholarship and a football scholarship.
Let one take care of the other. If you don't get what you want in football, take a track scholarship, be a walk-on. I guarantee you that scholarship gonna transfer over.
And this is what I'm saying. If his parents are listening tonight, I forgot his mom's name that's in the other group. But if you're listening, get your son right now in off-season track training. Right now. Put him out there for track. If it's not happening in football, put your child out there for track. Do what he do. Find the money to help him have a great senior season in track. Your child should get picked up either in track and or football. Now he can go to school on a track scholarship and go play football and still ride and still do his thing for free. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, take a preferred walk-on in football, but you ask for a track scholarship in return. That's what you do. Preferred walk-on in football and ask for a track scholarship in return. Trust me, schools got track scholarships out there that they don't use and they pass them on to other programs.
Out the wazoo.
So whatever it is that's going on with the kids for him not to have offers, it is what it is. But you do have options. If he got the grades and the SAT/ACT score, take that preferred walk-on, but petition for a track scholarship. Get your son out there to run track for a year. And then hopefully what should happen is the football scholarship kicks in. He gets a full ride scholarship and drop the track scholarship.
Yep.
That's how you handle that business.
Now,
it's a game.
I gotta be honest about one thing when it comes to these high school players.
Oh, did we lose him?
You got me, bro?
Barely.
You got me, bro?
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing I have to be honest with when it comes to these high school kids being recruited right now, y'all gotta understand one thing. The transfer portal is hurting a lot of kids. Is why you're not getting the offers. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, because these football scholarships have been given to the transfer portals, and a lot of proven lower schools and your FCS schools and your Division II schools are also getting Division I scholarships now and stuff like that. Also, you might have to take a different path that you don't want to take, i.e., getting that track scholarship, accepting a PWO, or going to a Division II school and later transferring, or FCS school and later transferring. The transfer portal has messed it up for high school college recruits. So you got to go about it a different route. You can't get depressed and get down because you're not getting those big Power 5 offers in. Accept what you can get. You do whatever you can do to become a successful person in life and use everything to your advantage. Mm-hmm. You transfer a portal to your advantage in your time. I know a kid right now that had Division I, Power 5 athleticism. He's small, went over to FCS school, Austin Peay, He proved himself. He's in the transfer portal right now, and he has 4 Power 5 offers that he can choose from. So you might just have to take a different route, but don't get discouraged. It's a lot harder to get into college right now with this transfer portal, but just follow those guides and steps that Mike is speaking on. Get yourself in a position, whatever it takes to be better. And I see Harris saying that it's harder to get track scholarships. You care to elaborate on that? Because scholarships on track a lot of times are not being filled. So what have you came across for that comment?
Yeah, because I know, and the reason I brought up the track thing is, like I say, when you listen to these coaches, if you actually listen to these D1 coaches, they're bringing players in as dual athletes. Georgia's doing it. Prime example. They got kids on the Georgia football team, but they're on a track scholarship. And you got a lot of other schools doing the same thing. So that's why I brought up the track scholarship thing. But at the same time, yes, Antonio, what you're saying is that's the same thing as, being on that Twitter, following those coaches, those recruiters at different schools that you are interested in. But at the same time, as Yo said, don't get discouraged because you're not getting an offer from that one SEC school that you want to play for. Because at the end of the day, and I don't care who we are and who we're talking about, at the end of the day, that free education is just as valuable as, that's the most valuable thing that you can get is that free education to set yourself up to be successful in life, to get your family out the hood, to get yourself out the hood. Because if you make it in any aspect of life to help get yourself out the hood, you can get your family to follow you. But the thing is, you got to have that good circle. You got to have that good circle around you when you exit the hood. Man, did I just lose my audio?
No, you still got it.
Oh, okay. I ain't hearing that. Wasn't nobody saying that. I thought I lost my audio. But yeah,
No,
man, at the end of the day, it ain't about, I don't care how you want to spend it, man. The biggest thing is we lose focus on is what's in front of athlete, student. And if anybody can get that free education, that's what it comes down to, man. Get that free ride for that free education. Because you got to remember, only 1% of college athletes gonna make it to 1% of all football players in the college is gonna make it to the NFL. Less than 1%, to be honest with you. 257 people gonna get drafted. And outside of that, 257, you got a good 8 times 32. That I'm gonna say a good 8 times 32 that's gonna get a phone call to come in as an undrafted free agent. So you got approximately a good 600 people from a class of college, from a college pool that's gonna make it to the NFL and go to an NFL camp that following season. What you gonna do if you ain't got that degree? You gonna try and go to Canada and play ball? You gonna try and go to the arena football league? You gonna try and go play in the XFL? Get that, man. That degree is more valuable than anything because it's gonna allow you to have something to fall back on and to make something of yourself at the end of the day. We got to remember, student is in front of that word athlete. And that's my biggest thing for parents to understand. Student is in front of athlete. Joe, you went to sleep on us? Joe don't, Joe
I
don't
don't
went
think
to
you went
sleep
to
on us
sleep
then.
on us.
Oh, okay. But yeah, man, that's my biggest thing. Like I say, I would have loved to see my son play at college foot, at the college at the collegiate level in football. I would have loved to see it. But I don't. Maybe it wasn't in the plans for him to do that because now he's at SCAD, and with him going to SCAD, he got it when he come out. If y'all don't understand how the alum at SCAD do for each other, they got recruiters stationed throughout the country and in certain countries throughout the world that help SCAD graduates find jobs. My son can walk out of school starting out making $70,000 a year. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it because his athletic ability didn't get him a free ride to school. Granted, me being retired military, the military can pay for him to go to school. Cool, but he has options, and we got to allow these student athletes to have options. Don't just keep it and focused on football because everybody ain't gonna make it. So we got to get these kids a backup plan, and that backup plan is remembering what's in front of student, and what's in front of athlete, and that's student.
But don't you think that track game, the state game, will help some of the ones that didn't have a scholarship get one though?
Hell, they helped the kid from PAC get one the next day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, man, the kid had 6 catches for 201 yards, and he out there with pins and plates in his collarbone, playing. 6 catches, 201 yards. Got a scholarship the next day from Georgia State. So yeah, the state games allow because you got a lot of recruiters. You got a lot of recruiters at state games nationwide, but we know for a fact that Georgia produces some of the greatest high school football players in the nation. Right behind Georgia might be Texas. But yeah, it was plenty of recruiters out there and some high school coaches, but I ain't gonna say no names.
Oh man, that's funny.
I ain't gonna throw no names of what high school coaches, were out there from a certain city called that started with a C. But you know, yeah, it puts light on a lot of kids in that state game, especially being in a centralized location. And it's one thing that the Thompson coach spoke on something that that really hit me. It's easy to fly into Atlanta airport. It's easy to fly into Hartsville airport and take a 20-minute ride to Georgia State Stadium and watch 3 games be played and go visit some high schools, come back, watch 3 games, go visit some schools, some kids, and then come back and watch 3 more games in a 3-day period. Centralized location, and it's easy to get access to the kids right then and there. You can talk to them in the locker room. You can talk to them, during halftime, before the game, after the game. You got them right there. Them kids was in a great position to excel. But like I say again, are the kids and the parents doing what they need to do behind the scenes to make sure those kids can have that conversation? So that's the biggest thing, man, is the parents ensuring that the kids are in a position to have those conversations during the state championship weekend. So, like I say, I'm not going to listen to the rumors that's floating around, but you do have to ask yourself why this kid doesn't have offers. And like I said, my first thing is, has him and the parents done what they need to do to allow him to get offers, i.e. being in the portal? And then the second thing is what everybody want to speculate on. Or, like I said, put a slash in there. Is the kid willing to change positions? Or is he just so much focused on a school or a type of school. You know, everybody's path ain't to go straight D1. Everybody ain't a Nick Chubb and can just go to Georgia. You know, blow your. I ain't gonna even say. Yeah, I'm gonna say Nick Chubb. You know, go to Georgia, blow your knee out, and still have a good career. You know, you might have to take a different path. Like the young.
Take the Stetson Bennett path, but look at him.
No, forget Stetson Bennett. The guy that we had on the show this past season that played at Georgia last year and transferred.
Oh,
I forgot his
I
name.
forgot about Hollywood.
Yeah, I forgot his name. But
Hollywood Kennedy.
here's my thing. The young man played at Georgia last year, won a national title, entered the transfer portal. Why? He went to Georgia as a preferred walk-on. The issue with that is you still have to, you got to pay some bills at that school. And he put it out there. You got to pay some bills. And it was a lot of stress on him and his family to pay those bills. But he made a name for himself and put some stats on paper for other schools to see him. So he entered the transfer portal. Why do I want to say he ended up at Tulane?
He's at Toledo.
Toledo, okay. Yeah, it's Toledo. I know it started with a T. It's Toledo.
Yeah.
And he ended up at Toledo with a full ride scholarship.
Full ride, starting cornerback for him.
Yeah. So everybody has a different path. That's why I say don't knock that preferred walk-on. If you and your family can foot that bill, don't knock a preferred walk-on. Now, if you can't foot that bill, then I understand. And you may have to go a different route.
Shout out Marcus Early Jr., PWO at the University of Alabama, who has also entered the transfer portal. You know, he's taking that route. You know what I mean? He walked on to Alabama, got him some practice films, some mop-up duty films or whatnot it may be, and entered the transfer portal now.
Yeah, that's what I say. Man, take whatever opportunity you have to whatever opportunity you get to put yourself on film, and to get in that stat book, take it. Because it can mean a whole lot later down the line.
Man, I'm glad you said that, man. If I'd have thought about it, man, it would have been nice to have Hollywood come on tonight and kind of talk if any of these kids this year is listening. Just to check on him and see what kind of season he had this year, man, because we hadn't talked to him since the season started.
Well, that's something we can do between now and bowl season before they get deep, before they get into practice, deep into practice for the bowl season. Because we know they're just doing walkthroughs and going to take a break for the holidays. But, yeah, if we can get them back on, man, it'll be great to get them back on and do a follow-up with them. But, like I say, I guess my biggest thing is for the parents of these student athletes, and I'm stressing student before the athlete. Do what you can to put your child in a position to succeed, and help your child understand. I understand you want to get you and us out this situation, but I need for you to get that education first. That education is more than football, because you get out there and have a career-ending injury, what you gonna fall back on?
So true.
Having that degree in hand is so much more valuable than making it to the NFL. And the reason I say this is because what's the average length of a player in the NFL? 3 years.
Been cut down dramatically from what it used to be.
Yeah, it's about
He used
3
to play
years.
with broken bones and all of that. Yep, now it's 2-3 years, man. You can be out the league. And shout out Tyoka Jackson, man, friend of the show, through our sister Shan, man. Somebody who talked about getting that education.
Oh, man, you brought up Shan. I am so proud of Shan's son. Because, all right, for those of you that don't know, our panel member, Shan, her son goes to Yale. Got a full ride scholarship to play football from Peach County to play football at Yale. He understands that education It's going to take him more places than football can get him. But if football can get him to the next level, then he'll take it. But he's going to have that degree from Yale University in his back pocket to fall back on. And the connections and network that he's going to create at that school is going to carry him further in life than playing football. Because let's be real about it. You got 32 teams in the NFL, right? Out of all those 32 teams, they got 52 on a roster, right? And then they got 16 on a practice squad. Well, hold on, how many on the practice squad?
I thought it was 14.
Okay. We're going to say 14. We're going to say 14 on the practice squad, right? Do y'all understand? That's 2,112 players in the NFL. How many folks in college playing football? You know what I'm saying? Once again, less than 1% of college football players make it to the NFL.
Make it to the league.
That degree is more valuable at the end of the day than playing in the NFL. And I repeat that again because look at how many people played in the NFL and they ain't got no money right now in their pocket, are broke.
And nothing to fall back on.
They got nothing to fall back on. But if you can go get that education and get that degree, you got something to fall back on. Because we all don't have a Tyreek Hill living in the house with us. We don't all have a Patrick Mahomes living in the house with us. You know what I'm saying? We don't all have a Aaron Rodgers living in the house with us. You know, one of those top name players in the NFL making with those big contracts. We don't have an Aaron Donald. I ain't got Aaron Donald living with me. So my thing is, set these kids up for success and instill in them that degree is going to carry them further than playing in the NFL.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what he's saying, nobody's telling you not. You get that opportunity, even if you are an Aaron Donald, Patrick Mahomes. It's nothing but time during the off season, man. Go back and finish your degree because there still is a such thing as season-ending injuries that goes on every day in playing football. It is a contact sport that you will want to fall back on something.
Anybody's career can end on any given snap.
Yes. Just word of wisdom to, you high school seniors that's trying to make y'all decision on the next level. Go through those portals like you just heard Mike speaking on. Get your name out there. Keep clean free Twitter. When I mean clean free, don't 1 week be posting highlights on how good your game was. The next week you're on your homeboy standing up smoking weed and stuff on your Twitter page. Keep it clean. Get your SAT scores. Get your ACT scores. Understand you might need to take a different route than everybody else because of the transfer portal. Parents, keep them set up the right way. We can't blame coaches all the time. Coaches' jobs is just a certain percent. It starts with the parents and the kids themselves. Coaches are there to just aid and help.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important thing, regardless, if you get that NFL draft, you make that NFL money, finish your degree, have something to fall back on. That's just FNL's advice to you parents and future college athletes.
Scholarships. Man, Jadon Harris, Mr. Harris, I'm glad you brought that up. Man, let me tell you something about these scholarships, Pell Grants.
Yes, sir.
These Pell Grants. Let me tell you something. And I didn't realize this until my son hit SCAD. Y'all do understand that you have to maintain a certain GPA to keep these scholarships and Pell Grants. You have to maintain a 3.0 to keep a Pell Grant, whether it's federal, even for a Hope Scholarship here in the state of Georgia. You got to maintain a 3.0 to keep those scholarships. My son, once again, my son is at SCAD, and I'm very proud of him going to SCAD. I have no problem with that. SCAD gave him a $12,000 scholarship. In order to maintain that, he has to maintain a 3.0. So do keep that in mind. You get a scholarship, you still have to maintain a certain GPA. You know, um, friends of mine that got scholarships to go D1, they children got scholarships to go D1. They have to maintain a GPA to maintain their scholarship. If not, they would lose that scholarship. So do keep that in mind. That's why it's very important to form good habits early on. And that's just my opinion. Very important to form good habits early on. And I stress this a lot. Like with SCAD, my son going to SCAD, they offer free tutoring. And they also offer other free life building skills. How to conduct the interview or how to interact, whether you're on a plane, in the elevator, sitting at a cafe. That's the type of stuff SCAD offers to students for free. And I loved it. I love it. And my son is utilizing those services right now to help build him in 4 years when he graduates. So understand what your child needs and understand what the school offers. Because if your child is good, your child is going to get seen regardless. Your child is going to get noticed regardless of where they're at. Prime example. Do I need to talk about Shannon Sharp? Do I need to talk about Walter Payton? Do I need to talk about Jerry Rice that went to HBCU schools and still got noticed? Appreciate it, Mr. Odom. I never been to Marshall, but I'm only talking about I'm only gonna talk about what I know are facts. But if Marshall offers, that is great. But those are things that are gonna build life skills for your son or your daughter. If your daughter out there playing basketball, volleyball, swimming, golf, cross country, whatever, track, you can benefit. Your daughter can benefit from this too. So it's an all around thing. It's not just football. It's all around. Basketball. It's all around. But it's just something we're trying to not to put information out, but to make us as parents think. Us as those uncles and aunts, as those cousins, those grandparents think about, to give you something to think about and consider. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
Now, Mr. Oldham, I'm gonna need for you to come on and explain these gray shirts and blue shirts. I'm lost on that one. Maybe we call it something different up here, but I'm lost on that one. Or can you expand on it in the comments? Which is the one that's better for you? So I'm gonna wait. All right, go ahead and send him the link. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna give him a few minutes to type up his response and post a comment before we end. Cause I ain't gonna lie, 9 o'clock coming up real fast. Mr. Harris, I'm gonna be honest with you. We will take anybody. We'll take a parent and or a current high school student athlete or a college athlete to come on board, to come on onto the show and help explain the college recruiting process from their perspective. Because we are open to that because we're not here just to put out information about what's going on in high school football. It's also about providing information to the parents and the kids to help them get to the next level. So by all means, if anybody is willing to come on and tell us about their experience or whatever, just have them reach out to us. Um, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna run the email. We're gonna run the email across the bottom of the screen for you, and all they got to do is reach out to us on the email. Let us know what's good for them. When are they available to come on? What's a good time, a good date? If they can't come on while we're live, then email going across the bottom of the screen. If they can't come on live, then we'll record the interview with them and replay it at a later time. So that's something that we're not against. I'm always open to having guests because let me tell you, I know y'all don't want to hear me talking. I'm getting tired of talking. My throat getting dry. I'm getting drunk. So I would love for somebody else to come on and talk.
Mr. Odom, check your inbox, Mr. Odom.
So once again, if anybody out there is willing to have their child come on or as a parent come on and speak on their experience, in this recruiting process, by all means, we encourage it. I promise we won't come at you. I promise we won't come at you like that. We're going to sit back and listen. Now, we're going to ask you some questions. Some questions might be hard because we're curious. And somebody in the audience may have that question just afraid to ask. Yeah, nah. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with my sisters why they ain't came on. And none of my sisters came on. Auntie Shan, Sister Shakira, the prayer warrior Jessica, ain't none of them came on.
Shakira at work, and then Jess said she overslept, and Shan did all the stuff she need to get for that snowstorm that's gonna be up there tomorrow.
All right, I can understand Shan and Shakira, but Sister Jess, you better stop chasing them mules. Mr. Robert, who's gonna be the next coach at Peach County? Mr. Robert, here's a better question. Who would you like to see to be the next coach at Peach County? All right, who we got here?
What's up, fellas?
Okay, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, y'all doing okay?
Yeah, we doing good. We doing good. So help us understand this gray shirt, blue shirt thing you're talking about. 'Cause I'm lost on that one, to be honest with you.
Well, what happens is if they're out, like, just say your child takes an official visit, right? And
Yeah.
they've committed themselves to all of the scholarships that they have for this particular season, they'll offer your son a blue shirt, which means they'll have to sit out a year, but that next year that scholarship is good.
So that first year they sit out, the parents got to foot the bill.
Or they can go to a JUCO and play, and it won't affect their scholarship or their eligibility.
All right, now let's back up for a second. When you say commit, we're talking about a verbal commit or a signature commit.
Signature commit.
Okay, all right.
Now, like in my instance, my son took a gray shirt. He graduated in 2022, right?
Yep.
They offered the scholarship. He took the gray shirt. His scholarship starts January.
Mm-hmm.
But we were able to send him to Marshall so that he could go ahead, get started. Once you get there, they're gonna do everything they can to help you foot the bill. We only just say tuition for an out-of-state student at Marshall was $13,000.
Mm-hmm.
We only ended up having to pay half because once he got there, they found scholarships and stuff for him so that he could be there. He has the jump on the 2023 class coming in because he's been on the scout team all year, knows the playbook. He's already gotten acclimated to being at Marshall, and his scholarship kicks in January.
Now, that goes back to something that we haven't spoke about and something we do need to talk about. And what it sounds like is you gave your child, your son, the opportunity to take AP classes in high school to be able to enroll early.
My son did dual enrollment.
Yeah. And that's another thing that parents need to look at while their kids are in high school. I'm with you on that.
But just because it's delayed doesn't mean it's denied. And a lot of parents, they frown on the blue and the gray shirt. Your child will still get the opportunity. He just may have to wait for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this: you paying $13,000 and paying only half of that for an out-of-state tuition. Man, let me tell you something about my child down at SCAD, and I'm gonna put this out to the public. For my son to go to SCAD for this whole school year is $60,000. Divide that by 3. That's $20,000 a semester. I am grateful. I only got to pay 10% of that.
You blessed.
And that 10% ain't got to come out of pocket. Because we got the GI Bill to help foot that bill.
Because one thing you have to keep in mind, they fill these scholarships based on need.
Yeah.
My son, great wide receiver, but at Marshall, they were looking for DNs and things of that nature. And so taking the gray shirt was to his advantage.
To allow somebody to leave, to graduate and leave and make room for him.
Yeah.
And make it need for him.
Yeah, because he's a part of, with taking the gray shirt, he's considered to be a part of the 2023 recruiting class, but he's been there the whole fall semester.
Yeah.
On the scout team. He knows the playbook. He's already acclimated to being at school, so when spring ball comes, he's ready to go.
And this is what happens when you put your child in a position to graduate high school early and enroll early.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. Which a lot of people need to understand.
It's very important, man. And another thing, the parent has to be involved the entire process, because with the presence of social media, these coaches have a lot of access to your child without you knowing.
DMs, all up in the DMs on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. And that's one reason why we chose Marshall, because the whole recruiting process, they didn't do anything with our son without consulting us first.
Correct. Now, I would say this: those schools that called me to talk to my son, I gave respect to. The problem was trying to get my son call him. And that's not what he wanted. So he had to make a conscious decision. Do you want to put in the work, or do you want to go ahead and choose a different path? And my son chose a different path.
Because, man, this information that you all are giving out is very valuable, because a lot of parents, like Mr. Harris put in, a lot of parents don't even know that your child has to be registered with Clearinghouse before any of this stuff can take place.
I didn't even know until my son's junior year.
Yeah, they have to be registered.
Luckily, he had a good.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, luckily, he had a coach that provided us with the information prior to the season beginning.
And this stuff, it's important because, like, we go to the games, we cheer the kids on, but we don't know a lot of the stuff that's needed to take place behind the scenes.
Exactly. And now during the off season is a chance for us to provide. Granted, we should have been providing this information during the season. We didn't think about it, but now we need to provide it. We're trying to put that information out there for those that it's not too late for.
And you're absolutely right, man. But yeah, those blue shirts and gray shirts, they can help you out tremendously because it doesn't, just because it's delayed. My son graduated in May. We sent him to school in August, and they take it from there because once they get you on campus, they're not gonna let you come back home.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And parents got to they got to keep their children motivated because a lot of these guys are the man when they leave high school, but you go into a school now where everybody's there was the man.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, which comes down to you got to be willing to put the work in.
There you go.
When it's required, i.e. the off season, because it's not the same work you put in high school. Now the work is much different. You got to stick to a meal plan. You got to stick to your weight training. You got to make sure you get up and go to class, make practice in the mornings and stuff like that. It's a lot more demanding.
Mandatory study halls and things of that nature, because most of the programs they have processes in place to ensure that your child is successful, but the child just has to be willing to take advantage of it.
Facts. For sure. And that's what we're trying to get parents to understand. And if we got any athletes out there listening, trying to get them to understand, now is the time to form those habits while they're in school in that sophomore, in that freshman year. Now is the time to form those habits. So when they become a junior and a senior in high school, it's second nature to them. So when they get to the collegiate level, it's just strictly business.
Thursday.
Yes.
Answer Shatara question. We're gonna close it down because we read at 2 hours.
All right, real fast, Shatara. The difference in a red shirt is, and Mr. Odom, back me up if I'm incorrect. The red shirt is an individual that has a full scholarship, but they're trying to get an extra year of eligibility out of them because they have somebody in front of them that's guaranteed to play, and that individual that has the red shirt is not going to be playing that season. So they put a red shirt on them to get an extra year of eligibility out of them, unless they show up in 4 or more games throughout the season.
That's right. As long as they don't play in more than 4 games, they're eligible for the red shirt.
So it basically gives them 5 years of eligibility. That freshman year counted as a wash if they're a red shirt and don't show in 4 games. They're a wash for that freshman year, and they still got another 4 years of eligibility in front of them. Hence, the same thing that happened to Stetson Bennett. That's why he's like 6 years in college still playing.
Because that's what happened to that was because my son, he went early, took the gray shirt, and he's getting red shirted because he was on the roster this season. And so, boom, his eligibility started with the gray shirt. It wouldn't have started with a blue shirt, but it started with the gray shirt. So now they red shirted because at Marshall, they had a lot of super seniors that were taking advantage of the COVID year that was given to everybody. And then they had a lot of red shirt seniors as well.
Yeah.
So they had like 18 wide receivers on the roster.
Yeah. So basically, his son can go ahead and graduate and still be eligible to play.
Mm-hmm.
If he wanted to.
Well, what about the ones that with this COVID year, when all that come out the way as far as them still be able to have time to play football?
If I'm not mistaken, all that ended at the end of this season. If I'm not mistaken, for the COVID year.
Yeah, your COVID year, your players that got that COVID year, this year was their COVID year. All of them that had that extra year.
Okay.
Because that's why Cincinnati made the bowl game last year, because they had a lot of super seniors held over from that COVID year last year. That's how Cincinnati benefited from it.
They said that was the same thing for Tennessee and somebody else.
Yeah. But this is last year though. Those guys are gone and out the way now. Those super seniors, they gone and out the way now.
That was all your super seniors are leaving this year, if I'm not mistaken. So it's over for them.
All right. So Mr. Odom, before we shut it down, you got any last words you want to get in before we shut it down?
Just make sure, like I advise all parents to just make sure you are involved with the process, because it's a decision. Yeah, ultimately it's your child's decision, but it's still your child, and you have to. They're teenagers. We have to remember that they're teenagers, and sometimes they'll go for the glamour and glitz, and that's not what's best for them. And you have to have open lines of communication, talk to your child, discuss it, and you and them together come up with what's best for them. Take the visits. And that was one thing, because my son wanted to commit to Marshall, but Coach Huff wouldn't let him commit until he visited, because he was like, son, I want you to come up here and see where you're going to be. See if you think you'll like being in Huntington, West Virginia, because I'm quite sure it's going to be a lot different than Macon, Georgia.
Now, that's a real coach right there. That's a real coach.
Yeah, my son wanted to commit, but he wouldn't let him commit. He wouldn't take the commitment until we took the official visit.
All right. Anything else you want to get out before we shut it down for tonight?
That's it, man. That's it, man. Y'all keep doing what you're doing, man, because it's much needed.
Mr. Holmes, I want to thank you for coming on, sharing your knowledge with us and the audience, and I hope you come back again and share some more knowledge with us. And matter of fact, I hope your son can find some time to come on and actually talk to us and give us his own experience with the recruiting process, to help other students, athletes.
We'll try to get him on next week, man, because their bowl game is Monday, and he'll be home. He should be home in time for the broadcast on next Wednesday, man, and we'll do our best to try to get him on.
All right. Hey, greatly appreciate you, man. And if you can get your son on, I think everybody will, benefit from that.
All right, man. We'll do our best to do that.
All right. With that being said, be safe out there in this weather. Get home safe and sound. And be safe, man. We'll talk to you next week, hopefully.
All right, man.
Tune in.
This is your Friday Night Lights podcast, photo and entertainment, and Middle Georgia sales and services.
Coke don't worry about Pepsi. I had to go see a man about a meeting.
Look at here, look at here.
A-Town down.
And you better not lose.
Tune in.
Not so fast, my friend. You better say it with your chest. Come on now, shout it.
And you better not lose. And you better watch your mouth now.
I am a Lego.
Better shut your mouth.
Yes, I am. I don't mean to interrupt you. Better say it with your chest. Let's get it.
And you better not lose.